So in the today's session, we'll be discussing about the common feature or the terminologies which we use in the Azure platform. So myself, Sharon. So please subscribe to my channel to get the latest updates on the Azure fundamentals. So in the coming days, I'll be creating the more videos on the advanced concepts as well. So please subscribe, and whenever I put a new video, you will get the notification. So even press the bell icon. So today for today one, we will discuss on the common features. I have listed out the 10 different features or the terminology what we use in the cloud. So the first very basic one is scale out or a scale up. So when we say that Azure is a scalable solution, right? So what do you mean by scale up or a scale out? So whenever we host our application on any of the Azure services, whether it can be your web jobs or it can be your web apps or whether it can be a microservice or whether it can be a Azure functions. So there are a lot of services are available. So when we host our solutions on these Azure platforms, we should be able to scale it up, right? Scale it up means whenever there is an increase in the workload, depending upon the workload, our VM should be able to perform much better with the heavier workload. So to make it to perform much better, so what we have to do is we have to increase the capacity of the machines. So to increase the capacity of the machines, either we have to scale it up in the sense the same VM will replace with another VM with the increased capacity. So you move from 2 GB RAM to 4 GB RAM, 2 core to a 4 core machine. That is called scale up. In scale out, so whenever there is a workload increases, so I have a one machine with 2 GB RAM. So I will place another machine with the same 2 GB RAM. So total it will become a 4 GB RAM. So in scaling out, we add the machines. In scaling up, the same machine we will replace with the higher and or higher versions of the machines. Right? So scaling up is quite easier. Scale out, it has its own challenges because when you scale out, you have to bring your load balancer and you have to configure your load balancer if it is scaling out, right? So the another one is a costing. Whenever you discuss with the customer or in your project, the costing is a very important prospect in Azure. So the costing is something whenever somebody asks you, give me the costing on cloud hosting, right? Or give me the costing uh, on hosting my solutions on the Azure platform. So what they basically mean is how much it is going to cost me monthly. So if I use the few services of the Azure. So how the costing is done. So how I include the costers, is there any discount is available? So in the discount side, we have something like a reserved instance concepts. So if there any discount is available, so we have to calculate that and provide to the end customer. So how much it is going to cost on monthly basis. In my last video, I have shown you few ways of calculating the costing that how we do it. But in coming in one of the session, I will just talk about the costing itself. So another one is Azure regions. So when you want to host your solutions on Azure platform, you have to decide in which region you are going to host. So I show you the another screen, right? So in this screen, you can see that where all the Azure is spread across, right? So these are the regions what we have for the Azure. If I take India, in India they are there in West India, Central India, and the South India. So South India is a Chennai, Central India is Mumbai, West India I'm not sure which location they opted. So similarly, you can see all over the world they got so many data centers. So what is basically a region? A region is a collection of data centers. So there can be one data center or there can be a multiple data centers. So I make a separate video to explain you on the regions. So as you can see, there is a available region, there is a availability zone, and then there's announced availability zones. So I will take you another session where I'll be explaining more about these regions, how to configure the regions, how you are going to make your application is high available, or how you are going to put a DR strategy by using the Azure region concept. So so basically what you have to understand by Azure region in the sense in which location you are going to host your application, right? So coming back to my presentation, cloud agnostic, right? So this is a very popular nowadays. Most of the customers or most of the end users, they will ask that they want to make their application as a cloud agnostic. The meaning of the cloud agnostic is once you make your application as a cloud native, right? Your application runs on the cloud platform. It should be easily movable across the different cloud service provider, such as your AWS, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, or it can be your on-prem. So your solution should be able to easily portable across the cloud service provider, including your on-premise. So that is the meaning of cloud agnostic. Migrations, you would have heard there is a migration projects which are going on the cloud. So the meaning is that moving your application from the on-prem to the cloud is called as a migration, or my moving a solution which is hosted on AWS to the Azure is also called as a migration. Moving the application from one Azure region to the another Azure region can be also called as a migration, right? So in migrations, again, there are different ways of migrating. So we can take the on-premise application which are VM hosted. So I will put the same application on the Azure again using the IaaS as a service. So I'll create a VM, so I'll host it. Otherwise, I will take the on-premise solution. I make a little modification on that, and I will make it is compatible to work with the PaaS solution, or I take the on-premise solution. I will use the very modern concept such as a microservice-based approach. I will split the application. I will re-architect it and I will deploy on the AKS. Right? So there are different ways of doing migrations, and migration is a very big concept. So probably we have few sessions on the migrations itself. Coming to the security, when we talk about the cloud, the main or the important concept is the security. So why the security is so important? So when we host your application on-prem, there are few things we can easily secure it, right? So you can give access to only to the organization which you are looking for. Since the data center is under your control and it is hosted on your own data and it is hosted on your own data center. So what you can do is you can easily control the traffic, network traffic. Basically, you can easily control it. So those kind of a things we can easily do it via the uh, in the security concept, right? So infrastructure, so when you talk about the security, we have basically three very important, that is infrastructure security, data security, and the application security. So in the infrastructure security, it is important that how you are going to secure your entire infrastructure, so that there nobody is there to take your uh, disk and run away. So there is something called as the infrastructure security. Even nobody should be able to access to your infra component. So how we are going to secure it? So there can be physical security, or we can talk about putting a BitLocker for your hard disk, right? That could be another infrastructure security. So what is the data security? So in the data security, basically we are trying to secure the data which is in rest and which is in transit. Application security, so how you are going to secure your entire application. So how you are going to secure your application keys, application related sensitive data, how you are going to encrypt or decrypt the message. So those kind of a concept what we cover uh, under the application security. So coming to the high availability. So in the cloud, what will happen is if you want your application to be more robust, more resilient, and you don't want to see any downtime of your application, then that is called as something highly available application. So that's the term what we use for the high availability. Monitoring. So monitoring is a very important. So when you put your application on the cloud, once we put your application on the cloud, basically your entire solution is on internet. So you should be able to monitor your application, which can involves monitoring the exceptions, logs, trace logs, errors, those kind of things. What we can monitor using the application monitoring. And in infrastructure monitoring, we wanted to monitor the infrastructure component such as your hardware, uh, network, uh, whether the CPU is fully utilized or whether the CPU is underutilization, what is the disk space is available. So those kind of a thing we can monitor using the infrastructure monitoring. So another very important concept what we use in the cloud is called a multi-tenant environment. Multi-tenant environment is something like I will build a one software where multiple clients should be able to connect and consume the data and the application. So the example for multi-tenant environment or multi-tenant application is something like your Gmail. where you can go ahead and create your own account and start consuming the services of the Google. So those are the multi-tenant environment. So when we talk about the SaaS-based applications, the multi-tenant is a very, very popular services because once you build your product, you have to just provision the new customers and get them onboarded. So there is nothing much you'll be doing with respect to the application to change it to the based upon the customer requirement. So it's a standard approach what we put up, and then the people who need those standard approach or standard services what you are being offering, so they'll come and subscribe to your services and then they pay as they go on, right? So that is the meaning of the multi-tenant. So these are the few very important terms what I try to cover. So in the next coming sessions, we will see more about the advanced concepts. So we will go to the Azure portal and then we will try to navigate and see how we can create the resources and what are the different options are available for the resources. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.